Hi. See, tell me, wait, write a poem on roses. Let's see what it returns, if it's working properly. Okay, so it generated a poem. In fields of green where petals dance, where blooms the rose a glorious trance. Okay, I like this. I like this poem. Okay, this is nice. I want the team to take a screenshot of this. I like this poem. Okay, so now we are successfully receiving the response from the API. Has everyone followed till here? Any doubts, anything that I need to repeat? Any doubts? पूछ लो, I'll repeat it. You can see the code here and the output. We'll wait for 2 minutes here. If you have any doubts, put it in the chat box or put it in the WhatsApp. This is the original logic that is being followed in all the Flutter Gemini packages that is available on their pub dev. This is the basic logic that is followed in all those packages. That's why I wanted to make you familiarize with this logic so that when I'm using the package, it will be easier for you to comprehend what is happening internally. All of them are going to make this HTTP post request, but package से क्या होगा? We are not going in that much detail when we are working with packages. It is going to make the development process easier for us. So we don't have to code इतना सब कुछ, package खुद देख लेगा. We are just going to do the superficial thing, जो UI part है or whatever other functionalities that I want to add. So package handle कर लेगा. What is response.status code? Status code is basically ये. That is your request has been successful. So status code 200 means कि successfully जो भी request था, it has been processed. And JSON encode. Okay, so whenever you're passing any request or expecting any response, वो सब ना JSON format में होता है. ठीक है? Whenever you want to communicate with APIs, mostly वो JSON format में होता है. So you need to encode your requests in JSON format. So you need to encode into JSON and then decode that JSON because जो response आता है वो भी JSON format में होता है. So you need to encode it in JSON format and again you need to decode that JSON. That's why JSON encode and decode. And response.status code is basically it tells me कि मेरा जो request है it was successful and I have received some response. And based on that response, I'm executing this piece of code. That is, I'm parsing my result and I'm showing that I'm adding that in my message list. Yes. Any other doubts? Yes, I'll add this. We'll add this in the GDSC repository. Don't worry. You'll get this code. I hope you understood it. Samajna is more important than, you know, doing like Of course, doing is important, but समझो पहले and then करो. I haven't used try catch block here. We should actually wrap this in try catch because अगर कुछ error आया, we also should be aware कि error क्या आएगा. So, okay, let's put it in the try block and यहाँ पे एक catch लगाते हैं. Catching the error and we can print the error. Print maybe error error block and $E. So it will give me an error. I saw basics of Dart, but I didn't see much similarities in Flutter app codes and Dart programming languages. Yeah, that is what. Even I didn't learn. Well, I went through the basic Dart programming, but इतना यूज नहीं होता है. मतलब until and unless you don't have any knowledge about coding या programming languages, then you need to थोड़ा सा see what is happening here. If you know any language, Java, JavaScript, Python, C, then logic same ही होता है. Loops, conditionals, everything is same. Syntax देखना होता है, but वो भी इतना यूज नहीं हो रहा है. फ्लटर में मेनली वी आर गोइंग टू डील विथ यूआई ना. लॉजिक पार्ट इज थोड़ा सा कम देयर. सो it is okay if you don't completely know Dart. No one knows completely anything. It is fine. Okay. I hope इतना सब कुछ समझा ना कि क्या हो रहा है. I'll again repeat it. The get data वाला function, it in try catch what error will it return? It can return any type of error. Like अगर timeout exception हुआ, that is beyond time. अगर मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम जा रहा है, जो भी लिमिट लाइक एक असाइन टाइम होता है, अगर उस टाइम से ज़्यादा हो रहा है तो टाइम आउट एक्सेप्शन होगा कि रिक्वेस्टेड टाइम आउट हो गया, प्लीज़ ट्राई अगेन. अदरवाइज सॉकेट एक्सेप्शंस हो सकते हैं कि कनेक्शन एस्टैब्लिशमेंट में इश्यूज हुआ हो, इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी में प्रॉब्लम हो. So you can see the code for, we'll wait for 2 minutes. You can have a look on this. If there is any doubt, let me know. Um, has everyone followed till here? Can we go to the next step? That is, we'll be using a package to do all of this, and that will be what will be continued tomorrow as well. So, shall we start with that? Okay, let's start with that. First, we'll be importing. Okay, let me just quickly get rid of this code, this part. Okay, so now we'll be starting from our main.dart. Um, what we are aiming is basically we'll be using two models in uh, uh, in our app. One will be using Gemini Pro model, that is your basic uh, the text prompts that you use in ChatGPT, that it'll take only text prompts. And the second part will take image and text, that is it'll be using your Gemini Pro Vision, that wala model. So um, what like the app will be divided into two sections. There will be a tab view. On the first tab there will be only text prompts, and on the second tab, when you switch to the second tab, you will find uh, a prompt key. You have to select an image either from gallery or you can click a pic from your camera, and that image, against that image you can put some prompt and you can ask it to Gemini. So this is the plan. I hope everyone followed this. uh, एक ऐप होगा, उसमें when you enter there will be two parts. On the left hand side there will be a tab, जहाँ पे when you switch to that tab ऐसा ही chat खुलेगा, where you will be able to send text prompts just like this. And on the second part, on the second tab, there will be a part जहाँ पे you will be selecting images, picking images from your gallery, or you can click your photos in real time and then ask questions to Gemini against those photos. Okay, so this is the plan. So let's get started. Um, let's say I don't want this title, I want something better. Uh, Gemini GDSC. Okay, so what will be our plan of action? Um, in the main, okay, let's say we create another file. Let's name it as text only dot. Okay, now text only dot is again going to be a stateful widget. So follow whatever I'm doing here, STFL, and you get stateful widget. Did everyone follow this? Did everyone follow this? Okay, so I'll name it as text only, save it, and in my text only, what I'll do is, okay, no, wait, before text only, uh, okay, leave it. Um, in my main, I'll create a class here, which will be my homepage. Class homepage. home page, which will be okay. Wait, home page. Okay. So the idea is that this home page widget, this home page class, will have the initial part of the app bar, which will contain that tab bar and switching wala part. So it will return your default tab controller. This is a widget which takes in the two mandatory fields are length. Length may I want two because there are two parts, text, only text prompts or image and text prompts. So there will be two tabs. And then additionally, I can also initialize the initial index. Uh, that will be 0. So the initial index is 0 and I want child to be passed there. So in the child, we'll pass scaffold. Okay. And let's say in this, okay, I don't want to delete anything. I'll just pass const homepage, comma. So, okay. So now, uh, let's restart our app and let's see what happens. Ideally, it shouldn't show anything. Yeah, it is blank because we haven't designed our UI part yet. So inside the scaffold, we're going to pass app bar, app bar widget. Inside the app bar widget, let's pass in a background color. Background color is going to be colors dot deep purple, and let the shade be 100. Okay. So now let's reload it. See, we got our app bar ka basic layout, basic structure. In the title, let's say it is Gemini. Text widget, and there is Gemini. Then I can also style it in text style. Text style will be font weight. Font weight is going to be bold. Save it. And we'll have a color property which will be white. Okay. So let's reload it. Let's see what happens. Okay, we got this. Now, let's say I also okay. Maybe I don't want it white. I should put it as deep purple. Reload it. Okay, now I have this. I also want to amend the font size. Font size will be let's say 25. Reload it. Okay, decent. Now, um, I want to place this title in the middle. Center title will be true. We have done this before. Center title is true. Okay. Now there is another property in app bar, that is bottom. Inside our bottom, we can call a tab bar widget. Now what this tab bar widget is going to take is a list of tabs. So the first tab, sorry, the first tab will have a text property wherein I'll initialize कि मुझे tab पे क्या दिखेगा. So let's say I want text only written on one tab, and on the other tab, because we have passed what, two, I want two tabs there. So on the next tab, text and image. Okay, now save it and let's reload it. See, we got our two tabs, 1 and 2. Okay, cool. Now we will place our body property. In our body property, we'll have a tab bar view. Inside the tab bar view, again, it will take two children. The first children is going to be text only, which I created just now here, this class. And the other one would be, let's say, text with image dot. And here it will be again stateful, text with image. Cool. And in the main, we're going to pass text with image. Okay. Let's see. Reload it. Okay. Now this cross is coming because we have initialized the tab bar view in the body, but we haven't designed anything here. Okay. Has everyone followed till this step? If you want me to repeat any step, let me know. Does anyone want me to repeat any step? Okay. So I hope there is no doubt so far. Okay. So now in text only, we'll be designing the text only wala part. Okay. So what I want is a similar UI to the previous app that we made, or the previous screen that we made. Similar UI रहेगा. थोड़ा थोड़ा change होगा बस. So let's start with the UI part. We'll have a scaffold. In the scaffold, we have a body because we are only going to deal with that right now. So inside our body, we'll need a children. Inside children, we'll be initializing expanded. Expanded because expanded is very much similar to your flex component that you use in web development, in your HTML, CSS. The flex is basically jitna space available hai, it takes in all the spaces. Similarly, expanded, whatever space is available after this, like the elements जिनके बाद ये आ रहा है expanded, उसके बाद जितना भी space है, it is going to occupy the entire space. Like let's say इसके पहले दो elements थे column में, but उसके बाद expanded आया तो जो दो elements जहाँ पे खत्म हुआ है ना ऊपर, let's say इतना part उस element ने लिया, and rest the entire space will be taken by expanded. And उसके अंदर जो भी child है basically वो पूरा space occupy करेगा. So in the child, we are going to pass list view builder, list view dot builder, and उसमें item builder. Okay. Now item builder पे बाद में आता है. उसके पहले we need item count. Item count is going to be your okay. उसके पहले which we will require a list again to store my chat. Text chat will be an empty string initially. Then we'll have a text editing controller. Text editing controller, which will be text controller, which will help me to manage the text that I write on the input fields. So text editing controller type of constructor. Then I'll use a controller for scrolling. Scroll controller. Scroll controller. Scroll, which will be equal to scroll controller. Okay, save it. Then, then, the item count is going to be my text chat dot length. Save it. And we require a controller. Controller for scrolling. Okay. Itna hua. Then we'll be initializing this part. Context and index. These are the two things that we require. Um, Return a list style. Return a list style. In leading, we want a circle avatar. Inside the circle avatar, there will be a child. Why are we getting this error? Okay. Child, inside the child, we want text, text chat, उसका index, and एक role. Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's create the instance of. Okay, let's add the package that we are going to use. Flutter pub add Google underscore Gemini. Okay. And enter. It should add the package in your pubspec.yaml. See, it added this Google Gemini package. This is something that we'll be using here. Import Google Gemini. This. Okay, let's create an instance of that. Instance means an object of this package. We'll call Google Gemini constructor, and inside that we are going to remember the API key that we created here. Here we are just simply going to place that here. Gemini API key dot API key. Okay. So this is the instance Gemini for the Google Gemini package. Okay. Now let's see what was the issue here. Hmm. Standard container. Something wrong. Okay. Let's let's complete it and let's see what happens. Okay. रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट के बाद नहीं, रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट इज फाइन. Let's style. Mhm. This is, I don't know what issue. Let me just quickly write the code again. Okay, here we need an expanded. Inside the expanded, we need a list view dot builder. Now inside this item builder, we need context, and index. Then we need curly brackets. Apart from this, we need item count, which is going to be text chat dot length. We also need controller, which will be scroll. We need, then it is returning list tile it's returning a list tile. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Aditya. I really missed out that part. Um, okay, so now that we have our list style, inside the list style, we are going to have our leading property. Inside the leading property, we'll have a circle avatar. Circle avatar will contain a child. So basically, in the circle avatar, that is your icon that you see in the previous screen that you saw, that G Google ka logo, that is your circle avatar that will be shown here. So in that child, what we are going to do is we are going to parse the text. Which text? That is the text chat, उसका index and उसमें role. Okay, now let's talk about this role. What role? What is role? So here we need to create um, here. Let's create a function. Uh, um, query text, maybe query text. Okay, so inside the query text we require the string query. Whatever the query that we are going to pass, it is a required, that is, it is mandatory to pass a query from this as a parameter. So then we are going to do a set state to update the UI. Then we are going to do text chat, that is the list that we have created. We are going to add in to that, similar to the previous code that we did, where we are going to mention role. Role is going to be user, and in text again we are going to have something, that is the query that we are passing, query, and we need a semicolon here. Okay, so what is this? Basically the chat that we are adding, it takes in two parameters. One, the key is role and the value is user. User is me, and the text part will contain the value of query that is being passed here. So it will add in my list in this way, user, role and text wise. And then what we can do is we can the text controller that we had initially made here, which was dealing with the text inputs, we are going to clear it as soon as it is passed in this function. And okay, wait, we will be adding this inside my set state. Okay, and this is going to be inside here. And then after all this, we are going to, okay, leave it. And then we have a Gemini dot. Now this is where we are going to deal with, see, you can already see we have two functions. When I call this, when I used this object dot, I can see two functions. One is dealing with the text and image, and another one is only text. So I'll be using this. It is going to pass query. It automatically took it. And then when I get a query, then the value, then the value is going to be passed here. Again, we are going to declare a set state where we are going to add in the response from the Gemini to the list. So again, I'll just copy paste this. But here, the role is Gemini, and the text is the value that we are getting from the request, from my query. The value that I'm getting, value dot text. It is almost as similar to this m dot text, or whatever the value I'm getting, the text value of it. Okay, so we got this. And then again we need to clear the text controller. Um, like this. And okay, sorry, I'm so sorry. We don't require this here. Okay, and if I get any error on error, we will be uh, adding that into the list. Text chat.add value, and then again we are going to pass the same thing here, only except the fact that we are not going to pass value.text, we are going to pass error dot toString and semicolon semicolon. Okay, so this is pretty much it, and we need a scroll function, scroll to end scroll to end scroll to end function that is basically going to take the scroll controller that we had initialized here, scroll controller, scroll jump to where, that is scroll to the position of max control extent and then a semicolon. So we can call this here scroll to end, and as well as here I think scroll to end. Also we can use it after this scroll to end. So what it will do is basically whenever I get a response, it will automatically take me at the bottom or the latest text. So let's restart it. Okay, now the cross has gone since we have already completed the initial part of the UI. Now what we were doing is leading. So in my avatar, what we are going to do is we are going to take the substring. Okay, the substring from at 0th position basically. So what it'll do is if my user's name, the role as user, so it will take only the first initial of that entire role and put it in the avatar, in the circular icon, in the circular avatar thing. Then after my circular avatar is done, then I can put the title. Title would be again text chat, uska index, and again we'll take the role. That will be the title. Basically the it will be shown over the text bubble. Then there will be a subtitle. Inside the subtitle, again the same thing. I'll just copy paste it. And here we are not going to paste role, we are going to paste the text. And I think this should be in double inverted commas. Okay. So it is here. And this is going here. This is text. Okay. I think we can try to run this. Okay, we don't have the text field yet. So then we are going to create a container. Inside the container again, it will be aligned. The alignment would be at the bottom center. Then what else we are going to have? We are going to have, let's say, a decoration property. Decoration property, there will be input, the box decoration widget. Inside the box decoration, we will have a box radius. Box radius. Border radius, sorry. Border radius. We'll have a border radius dot circular. That would be, let's say, 30. Save it. And we will have a border. Border will be border dot all color, and the color would be, let's say, colors is gray. Cool. So this is done. Now we will again have a child in this. Yes, the child will have a row, then a children. Inside the children, we are going to have again an expanded, then a child, then we are going to pass the text field, basically from where we are going to enter the our inputs. Inside the text field, we are going to have a controller. This time it will take the text controller. Then we'll have decoration again. Inside the decoration, we'll have input decoration. Input decoration will have hint text. That is the hint that we want to give to the user. It'll take a text. Let's say type your prompt. Save it. This is your hint text. Apart from your hint text, we can also have border, then again border. Okay, no, wait. We'll have an outline border. These are all UI elements. You don't need to worry about this. You can design it according to your requirements. Let's have a border radius. Border radius, again, border radius dot all. Let's say it's 10. Sorry, not all. Circular. And we'll have a border side. Border side will be nothing. Border side dot none. Is that it? And we can also have fill color. Fill color would be color transparent. Okay, so let's reload it. Okay, now we have some error. Okay, now we have this. This is the text form field from where we can enter our inputs. Okay, so this is done. We need a padding here. Let's give this container some padding as well. let's say let's give a horizontal padding, symmetric, and then horizontal 15, and let's also give some margin. Margin will be again edge insets all. Let's give 20 margin. Now let's see. This looks good. We have given some padding from inside. We have also given some margin from outside. Okay, so I think this is done. And okay, we also need an icon button. Uh, okay, so after this fill color is done, we can have the keyboard type. Okay, the keyboard type. Inside the keyboard type, we can have a text input type as multi-line. Yes, this. You can have multi-line of prompts. Then we can have, let's say, okay, now this is done. Now we will have an icon button, which will have an icon. Let's say, okay, let's do one thing. We need two types of icons. So let's again set another variable, a bool variable, loading, which will be initially false. Okay, it will be initially false. And we can also use that here in the set state. When user has put in the prompt, then it will be true. The loader will show here. And if it is false, or if it gets the uh, response, then it will be false again. And even here, we need the loading to be false. Okay, I think this is done. And okay, now let's design the icon button. Now this is loading. It is going to see what is the value of loading. If it is true, then it will give a circular progress indicator. Otherwise, this circular progress indicator is, by the way, an inbuilt widget. Otherwise, it will give me an icon. Again, the icon would be icons dot send. Okay. Now the color would be deep purple. And let's run it. Oh, on pressed. Okay, let's see. Okay, now my almost the UI is done. This is not bad. Let's write something in the on pressed. Okay, so in on pressed, we are going to basically trigger this function that we have created, this query text. So pass in the query text, and in the query text, the compulsory field is this query. We need a query. So the text controller, whatever the text controller is storing or getting, the basically whatever input I'm giving using the text controller, it is going to pass in the text value of it in that uh, function. So it is going to, okay, let's see if I get any response. Okay, I mean, I didn't really type in anything, but okay, it gave me some response. Okay, now the problem is we are not getting the G over here. I don't know what is the issue here. Let's reload it. Restart it, sorry. I put hi. Yes, now everything is working perfectly. Uh, tell me, uh, uh, what do you want? Um, tell me about different types of roses. Let's see if, how long the response is. Okay, quite long. Okay, so this is the basic UI and the basic text only prompts that is happening. We actually invested a lot of much more time on the UI part rather than actually building the logic because there was nothing in the logic. I have already explained the logic behind this, how it is happening. Everything is, if you go inside this package now, what is this function? This. If you go inside this package, inside, if you dive inside this these codes now, you'll find it is also doing the same process that I mentioned here. It's doing a similar process there as well. But here, since we are using the package, we didn't have to invest much time on writing the logic behind the HTTP response and request. Instead, we invested more time on building the UI. And what? Ma'am, how the loading icon is coming, which is getting the reply. Oh, so this loading button is basically not button actually. This indicator is basically an inbuilt widget that is provided by Flutter. So I mean, you just need to call this. So what it is doing is it is checking the value of loading variable that I initialized here, which is initially false. That is initially I don't want loader, right? So initially it is false, so I am not getting the loading wala animation here. Whenever whenever the loading value gets true, that is whenever I'm sending something and I haven't received the response yet, okay? So the loading is true here. So when the loading is true, basically that it is acting, basically this is a ternary operator. So if the value is true, then it will be rendering the first part or returning the first part, and if it is false, then it will return the second part. So right now it is false, so it is rendering the second part, that is this icon send. Otherwise, when it becomes true, when I send it and I haven't received any response, by that time it will give me a circular progress indicator. Like right now it is false. As soon as I send it, it will go back here in this function, and immediately this set state is basically rebuilding your UI. So it will rebuild your UI in a way कि loading will become true. As soon as loading becomes true, the loader will show up, and then uh, yeah, then when I get the response again, it will be the set state will change its state, basically change its value to false. So when it changes to false, then again, okay, I should have um anyways. So This was it. So this was about the text only prompts. Are there any other doubts you have? Anyone? I provide this code on GitHub. It will be available there. You can check in there. Other than this, if you have any doubt, let me know. Tomorrow we'll be dealing with the text and image prompts, where we'll be selecting images from gallery itself. Otherwise, we can click photos in real time and then ask Gemini to maybe describe the image or any query that we have. We can do that using this text and image wala part, which we will cover tomorrow. So that was it from my side. If you have any doubts, you can put it in the chat box or you can put it in the group. All the resources will be shared.
All right. So now, as we move towards the end of the session, I'd like to thank Devangana for such an amazing session. We began by building small blocks of UI, and by the end, we built a full-fledged chat application where we can all interact with Gemini now. Right now, as for tomorrow, we have a much more interesting segment coming up where you can chat with images and use Gemini. Right.
Yeah.
So, of course, that is more fascinating and. We hope to see you in a huge crowd tomorrow as well. Thank you very much all for attending this session. And if you don't have any further doubts, we can conclude this meetings right here. Yeah. Hello. Devangana उधर नहीं. हाँ इधर. Very nice. Hi. Very nice. Very good.
सेकंड अच्छा यही मीट पे हो ना?
आवाज आवाज बंद हो गया देवेंद्र. आवाज आवाज बंद हो गया.
कौन सा आवाज?
आवाज ही नहीं आ रहा. ये मुझे किसी का आवाज नहीं आ रहा. रुको रुको रुको.